Good morning and welcome to another edition of Policing with You. We are happy to have you joining us this morning. This morning, what we will be talking about is the Police Welfare Association. I know that many of you in the listening audience would be aware that in a recent meeting with our new Minister of National Security, the Honorable Prime Minister, that you heard mention of him wanting to deal with the police, and he made mention of the Police Association, speaking to the Police Association. What we would be aiming to do this morning is to just give you some information, some context in terms of what that association is and some of the responsibilities as it pertains to police. In the studio this morning I have with me Superintendent Henry, and he would be helping me along with the discussion, and we will entertain your questions or comments as we go through the show. We tell you why. Superintendent Henry, something that you would like to say in the meantime?
Well, thank you, Sergeant Thompson, and a pleasant good morning to our listeners. Let me first apologize for the absence of this show for the last 2 or 3 weeks. We are really sorry, but it was due to circumstances beyond our control, and we really were not happy with not being able to present this show to you. However, we are here this week, and we would do our endeavor best to ensure that we do not have any break in our attendance here to this show. So let me again apologize for not having the live show over the last couple of weeks. It was due to circumstances beyond our control, and we promise you that going forward we will be here weekly to speak to you, to educate you, and to get feedback from you. This program is very important to us, and we value your participation and the comments that we get from you. So, as the sergeant said this morning, we are going to speak about the Welfare Association, to provide some education to you and some context. The Honorable Prime Minister would have made mention of meeting with the Police Welfare Association. That hasn't been done yet, and so ahead of that meeting, we thought it best to educate the public as to exactly what is the Police Welfare Association and who are the members of the Police Welfare Association. What do they do? These are some of the questions that we would answer this morning, and of course we would invite your participation in the show. So, back over to you, Sergeant.
Thank you, sir. So let's get right into it then. So what exactly is the Police Welfare Association?
Right. Well, the Police Welfare Association is basically a union, so to speak, to make it as simple as possible. It's a union. We have the teachers union, the civil service union, the port workers union, and these unions represent the interests of the members of the union or the employees within the particular organization. The police welfare is exactly that. It's a body that is comprised of members of the organization that has the responsibility to represent the interests of the organization, of its members, to the authorities. So whether there is a need for better working conditions in the workplace, better allowances, better equipment, better whatever the needs are of the general body, the Welfare Association represents that need to the authorities with the hope of getting the matters addressed.
And when you speak to the authorities, you mean exactly?
The government.
Okay.
The government, because they're the ones who are ultimately responsible for the well-being and the welfare of the police force.
Okay, thank you, sir. But I would think that police are properly looked after. So do you really think that there's a need for something like a Police Welfare Association?
Well, we are in changing times, and so what might be good this year might not be so good next year
Support,
because things change over time, and so whatever condition is good now, it deteriorates
necessarily.
and it changes over time, and it may not be necessarily so good later, and so there has to be a sort of constant keeping up with the changes in the environment and the changes in circumstances, and so that body is charged with the responsibility of articulating these changes.
So you're saying that the conditions are dynamic and that you need a body to be able to treat with that
Right.
on behalf of the police.
Exactly.
Okay.
You said it.
Okay. So, in terms of the Police Welfare Association, how is this constituted? What's the form or format? You know, like in government we have parliamentarians, we have seats. Do you have anything like that in terms of the Police Welfare Association?
Well, yes, the Police Welfare Association is comprised only of members of the police force.
So you're saying that, what about the civil servants, civilians
Civilians.
civilians who work within the organization? They're not.
No, the civilian workers within the organization, they are not considered members of the police force, and so they're not they cannot be part of the welfare association. They might be fall under some other association. Maybe if there's a civil service association, they might be protected by that association because they are civil servants. But in terms of the welfare association, the police welfare association, only police officers can be members and can participate in the process.
Okay.
And even so, within the police force, only police officers below the rank of inspector.
Okay. Is there a particular reason for that, though?
Well, above inspectors and above are considered civil servants, and so they're not covered under the.
So you're almost a civilian police officer.
Not a civilian police officer, but
You're considered under the same acts and legislation.
Different set of legislation.
Okay.
Yes. And so the ranks below inspector, they are governed. They are covered under the police welfare. Now we know that the police force is rank driven. There's
Yes.
a rank structure. You have special constables, corporals, sergeants, inspectors, superintendents, various ranks within the police force. Now the Police Welfare Association has representation from each of the ranks, and this representation is formed through branch boards. So there's a branch board for each rank up to sergeant. Remember I said it's only below inspector. So you have a special constables branch board, a constables branch board, a corporals branch board, a sergeant's branch board. Now, these branch boards are formed through elections. We have elections annually, and where each rank would vote for 7 members from 7 officers from among their rank to represent that particular rank. So those 7 members would form the branch board for that rank. So there's an election, and only constables. The constables will vote for 7 constables to represent.
So you're saying that as a sergeant, I can only vote for sergeants,
right,
in that election. But the constables themselves would vote for constables.
Constables, right.
Okay.
So if we are 200 constables,
yes,
those 200 constables would vote for 7 constables to represent them. So those 7 constables would form this constables branch board, and they would represent the interests of constables within the organization. Similarly for all the other ranks. The corporals would only vote for corporals, and they would vote for 7 corporals from among all the corporals to represent the corporals. Same thing for sergeants, same thing for special constables. So we have special constables, corporals, sergeants, 4 branch boards.
That sounds like a lot.
4 branch boards comprising of 7 officers, 7 ranks from within that particular rank, representing the rank. Now, so we have to bring it down smaller because we can't have a association.
That sounds like a lot.
Right, with 28 members. So those 4 branch boards now would form a central committee of the association. So they would select 2 members each. The branch boards, once they would have formed, they would meet. They would elect the executive. So the branch board would have an executive. We'd have a chairman, a secretary, a vice chairman, a treasurer. So each branch board has its own executive when they meet. And So they would now elect from among themselves or select from among themselves 2 persons. I think it's 2 for sergeants, 2 for constables, 4 for constables.
4 for constables and
four
4 for special constables.
right.
Something like that, yes.
Right. So they would, the special constables would select 4 special constables, the constables would select 4 constables, the corporals would select 2 corporals, the sergeant would select 2 sergeants, and they would form the central committee. So that 12 persons would form the central committee of the welfare. That is the body now that would make direct representation to the authorities, to the government via the Commissioner of Police. And so you have the branch boards, which would be the ranks themselves.
Yes.
And then you have the central committee, which would be a combination of all the ranks. So we have 12 members representing all the ranks, forming the central committee of the association. And this is the body that would make the final determination as to what proposals, what needs to be for advance, for action.
Okay, so how do they get the information or the issues that they need to advance to the to the authorities?
So there are 2 ways. The chairman of the constables branch board, for example,
Yes.
he can call a meeting with all constables. I think that is what should happen. The constables would meet and they would discuss among themselves what are the issues that are affecting constables. Are we properly treated in the organization? Are there anything that we need improved? And they would discuss those issues, put them together properly, and then the representative from that branch board who is on the central committee, he will now take those issues from the constables to the central committee.
Okay.
And the same thing would apply to all the other ranks. So the corporals would meet with the corporal branch board would meet with the corporals, the sergeant branch board would meet with the sergeants and hear the specific issues for that particular rank. And sometimes the issues run straight across all everybody, but they would highlight their particular issues and concerns, and then the representative from the branch board would now take that to the central committee. When the central committee meets, and they would now put together all the concerns. So you might have, the constables might have a concern, for example, about the amount of vacation days they get. They're not satisfied with the amount of vacation days. The corporals may have the same concern. They might not be satisfied with the amount of vacation days. The sergeants may have the same concern. So rather than be having 3 sets of concerns going to the commissioner, the central committee would now put all of those concerns under one heading, vacation.
Yes.
And whatever the proposal is from each body, each group, then they will put that on the vacation. So it's sort of compact what is going to the commission, rather than you have a whole set of things and everybody saying the same thing.
So while you get the representation from each of the individual ranks in terms of their specific concerns, the central committee would be able to group in terms of the overlap.
Right. The overlap.
And then, so what you would have going, instead of the same issue from 3 different persons, you would just have the issue representing everybody.
Right.
Okay, understood.
And so you might have some concerns that are specific to constables that are not specific, that are not a problem for the other ranks.
That is so.
And so that would also find its way within the set of proposals to go forward, because these are the problems, these are the issues that the constables have. Sergeants may not have those same issues, but they still have to go up because the constables have that issue. And so the representative for the constables on the central committee would ensure that the constables' issues are put forward. So all the ranks have representation, and so all the concerns from each of the ranks would have to find its way in any
irrespective of whether it affects all the other ranks or not.
Exactly.
As long as it concerns one rank, then it moves forward.
Right. So the sergeant kind of said, "Why me? I'm not concerned about vacation." So me telling the commissioner about vacation.
Okay, so
the constable who's on the central committee would say, "Well, you don't have a concern, but my constables have a concern." So the commissioner has to hear about it.
Okay.
So that is how everybody is represented.
Okay, understood. GQ, maybe we can take a short break and then we'll come back and we'll continue the discussion.
All right.
Oh, yeah, yeah. The specials at Domino's are hot, hot, hot for any occasion. Hot right out of the oven. 1 medium, 2 topping pizza, and 2 20-ounce Cokes, only $35. Free Coke with your lunch until 2 p.m. Small, 1 topping school child lunch special, only $14. 2 medium, 2 topping pizzas, and a 2-liter soda, only $69. 2 large, 2 topping pizzas, and a 2-liter soda, only $92. Oh, and the big one, baby. Free large pizza every Tuesday with your favorite 2 for Tuesday special. So, come on down or call and order now and experience our tasty oven-baked goodness. Domino's, the home of satisfaction.
Wow, call Domino's. Summertime!
This summer is going to be crazy. A crazy summer to remember at The Cable. Win cash, TVs, and other cool prizes when you sign up for internet or Ultra TV services at The Cable all summer long. Isn't this crazy? 3 lucky winners will win $100 every week, and 1 wins $500 every month. On top of that, tablets and TVs are up for grabs. Signed up for new internet package as low as $97 per month, or TV for only $60 monthly for over 90 channels. Whether you're a brand new customer or ready to come back home to The Cable, this promotion is for you. So don't miss your chance to win crazy summer prices. Signed up or pay your bill in full today at www.thecable.net or in store at The Cable office on Keon Street. Promotion ends September 30th, 2022. Terms and conditions apply.
Summertime!
Boy, what you doing?
You mean I top up my phone?
A top up? You need an upgrade.
What do you mean?
You need to switch to buying a Digicel 7-day Prime bundle. That's what I mean. On a 7-day Prime bundle, you get unlimited local call, 10 gigabytes of data to use anywhere you want, plus unlimited text.
What you saying? That sounds good. Because I always find myself a run out of credit, especially when you talk to the people and so.
Boy, yeah, and it only costs $25 now. Imagine how long your $25 would last.
I could only imagine. You know what? I can get myself a 7-day Prime bundle today. Activate a Digicel Prime bundle today in My Digicel app or dial *141 $.
Okay, welcome back. As we said before, Sergeant Marvin Thompson, your host today, and with me in the studio I have Superintendent Cromwell Henry, and we were discussing the issue of the Police Welfare Association and some of the information in terms of what that is. In the context of the conversation we had with the National Security Minister, or Honorable Dr. Terence Chu, Prime Minister, recently. Now, Superintendent, just before the break, we were talking about the Police Welfare Association and how representation is made, and you mentioned about the branch boards. Is that the only way that representation is made in terms of the individual branch boards making representation to them? Is there some other way that can be done?
Right. Yes, there is another way that the membership can meet with the welfare. The central committee can meet directly with the general body. So instead of just the constable branch boards meeting with the constables,
Yes.
the central committee, which is a combination of all the branch boards, can meet with the general body, all the ranks together.
Okay.
They could have one general meeting where they could either indicate what proposals they're going to put forward, or to hear recommendations for whatever issues they may have. Whatever the central committee wants to discuss, they could have a general meeting with the general membership to discuss those issues. But I think it would be, most times they would meet with the general body to discuss what proposals they are advancing going forward, so that everybody know what is being put forward on their behalf.
Okay, understood. Thank you. So a question though, do the police officers who are selected for these particular roles need any special qualifications?
Well, you just need to be a member of the organization. You don't need any special qualification. The membership would determine who they think best can represent their interests, and they will determine what qualification you need. There's no special qualification that is required because you must meet certain standards, certain qualifications to be a police officer.
Yes.
And so once you're a police officer, then you are qualified to
So
serve.
you're saying that if I'm just finished training school, and there's an election coming up, that I can put myself up and I'm qualified to be elected to serve
Yes.
in that regard.
Once you're qualified to serve as a police
Okay.
officer, you're qualified to serve on any of the branch boards. In fact, I think at our last election, we have a recruit who was elected by the constables to serve on the constables branch board.
Okay.
So that recruit would have come with special certain skills that the constables think that could be used in their interest, and so they elected that person to serve. Once you're qualified to be a police officer, you're qualified to serve on the branch board.
Okay, and what is the specific tenure? What term of service?
Elections are held annually, so the tenure of the association is until the next association is elected. So there is elections in January of every year,
Okay.
and the boards must meet by February, the 7th of February. So the tenure is basically one year.
1 year. Okay, so 1 year. And do officers have a choice? So if a member of the police force, since they don't need any specific qualifications except for being a member of the police force to be able to be elected, can they opt out of even being a member of the police association?
Well, no. Every member of the police force are required to put themselves eligible to be elected on the welfare. So every member of the police force are a member of the welfare association in the broad sense, the general membership of the welfare association. But in terms of the executive, that body that makes the final representation, that body is elected. Of course, if you are nominated and elected, you have a good reason, you could decline your nomination. But generally, once you are below the rank of inspector,
Yes.
you don't have a choice in your membership in the association.
So you're saying that it's automatic.
It's
From
automatic.
from the moment you take the oath and are considered a
You're considered-
police officer,
You're
you're
considered
automatically a member of the
member
Police
of the
Welfare
Police Welfare
Association.
Yes. In fact, we are required to pay dues, and that dues is deducted from your salary. You can't stop it.
Okay.
The monthly dues, there's a monthly due subscription that is deducted from each of us salary. I think it's a small nominal fee, $9 a month, and that is deducted from your salary, and that is what makes you a member. You're paying your subscription, and so you are a member.
Okay. Jukio, think we can open the lines now and accept a few calls.
Yes, good morning. You're live.
Yeah, good morning, GQ.
Yeah, morning, Jam Don.
Good morning, Superintendent Henny.
Good
And
morning,
the other
sir.
youngster there, me name.
Sergeant Thompson.
Morning.
Sergeant Thompson.
Morning.
Well, I wanna shout out my big friend, Ian Creeley, to give him man like me and others a voice when it comes to police matters in this country. Mr. Creeley, I endorse what the Honorable Prime Minister do to go and talk with the police. But I don't like what went on there during the course of the meeting. You got to respect the train that come in. And for how some junior officers behave on the road and where get from that meeting, I think the Honorable Prime Minister didn't smart. He should have walked in the pad, and when he asked them to talk and go out of context, you just tell them, okay, I have your matter. And then you go to the chief man and you keep a serious meeting with them. Not in the public domain and around the world. Oh, that's not done with. No. You're mashing up the moral of the police force. This is Jam Dong. Have a good day. I got more to say, but not now. Have a good day, officer.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you for your contribution.
Have a good day too. Yes, we have another call.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, you should go ahead. Do you have any more call?
Yeah, go ahead. You have a call.
Good morning, caller.
Hello.
Good
Good
morning.
morning.
Yeah, good morning, Commissioner GQ.
Hey, morning, Culture.
And the other high ranks there. Officers, are you all good morning? As usual, police
Morning.
with us. I like the information we're getting today. Now, my question is this. Whenever a soldier leaves the barrack to go out on duty, he has his gun. Now, when these police went up training school, did they teach them to use a baton? If so, why a police is on the road without a defensive weapon? You cannot put a gun in every police hand, but every police is supposed to have a baton, because the pants pocket was designed for that. Now suppose a man, an ignorant man, decide he gonna fight the police because the police physical structure ain't look too strong. What do the police have to defend itself against the man? Because these things couldn't happen under Chiefy raid. All police are going out on duty, they will have to have a button in the pants. So that is my question. Why they don't have a button? Since you can't give every police a gun. You are going good. Thank you very much. Jam Dong, good morning.
All right, thank you.
Yeah.
And yes, police officers, when they are in training, are trained to use batons. However, it's not the baton that you might have known, the wooden baton that you push in your pocket. What we use now is called the APS baton. That's the expandable baton, the one that you might see on TV that they flick and it extends. That is what we are using now. So they're very well maybe in town and have the button clipped to their side and you may not recognize it, because that is how it's carried now. It's generally black in a case and it's hooked to the side.
Just about 6 inches. 6 inches.
Just about
6 inches.
well, when it's contracted.
Yeah.
When you flick it, it gets between 12 to 18 inches. So,
Good morning. You're live.
JQ.
Come on.
JQ.
Yes, man.
Can I talk with you, Sonny Boy?
Sonny Boy, go ahead. You're live.
Ask it's Superintendent Henry, who determined the police salaries, the monetary salary? Because, I'm not trying to compare the United States, but in the United States, the police union negotiate the police salaries. Ask them if they got the same structure with Central Police.
Well, yes, the Police Welfare Association, they would make representation on things that like salaries, but the final analysis, the government is who determines what the salary is. But the Police Welfare would negotiate these things as part of the representation that they make on behalf of police officers.
Well, that's nice to know, because growing up home, I never heard about no police welfare system before. So that's very interesting information for me. And I'm 75 years old, so I've been away over 50 years.
Well, the association has been around as long as that.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Hey, you're most welcome, man. Over to you, Sergeant.
okay, so yes, and it's interesting that the gentleman said that he wasn't aware that there's a police welfare association, and there might be many others who may not be aware of that there is such a thing.
Right. Hence, we have this program too.
Yes, so it's timely that we are sharing this information. But there's one thing that I wanted to mention. Why is it necessary for the police to have their own thing, to put it in layman terms, as opposed to our own association? If there are associations out there,
Other unions.
yes, other unions,
Right.
it would just be easier to just go and join up this strength in numbers. So,
Yeah. Well, I mean, if for example a police officer go and join another union, that union may not have would have other members who are not police officers and may not have the best interest, may not have the interest of police officers at heart. And so our regulations prohibit us from joining other associations of this nature. And so it created an association, a union, if you want to call it that, for police officers. So similar to how the teachers have a teachers union,
Yes.
the police have a police union. It's called a police welfare
But you're saying
association.
that there
So-
is some restriction in terms of the kind of associations and unions that police are allowed to join by law.
By law, yes. You cannot join other associations. So we have to create one for police officers.
Okay. So
And it makes sense because you don't want to have 10 police officers as part of one union, another 10 police officers part of another union. And so you have the whole force divided among 3 or 4 different unions. You will not have any cohesiveness in the issues, in the presenting of the issues that affects police officers. So I think that this is the best avenue to have one body that represents the interests of police officers. You know, only police officers are part of that body, and so they could best represent the interests of police officers rather than having them mixed with other bodies, other groups that may have differing interests, and the police officers' interests may get diluted among those.
So, and I will say this, as much as some of the issues that police officers face in the day-to-day run-ins may overlap or mirror some of what others face in civil service or private enterprise, working in the police force and the issues, the environment that we deal with, the demands of the job, I can say it's very much unique.
It's unique to police, right?
Very much unique.
So,
and that if we
no one
had
else
to
would
join any association, when we are making certain representation for specific issues, I'm not sure that they would be able to relate.
Right. They will not understand, well, why you want this?
Yes.
And not understanding what we have to put up with.
So-
So police officers will better understand
It makes
issues.
better sense to have an association of the persons who are
living it, living
in the
public,
kitchen,
right?
who know the heat,
Right, who feels
per
it.
se,
Yeah.
who can speak to the issues because they are living the issues.
Correct, correct.
Okay, so yes. Do you have any more calls, GQ?
Not at the moment.
Well,
Okay, I think we could wrap up. We have
Yeah,
coming
so
up now, so maybe we
I'll
could
give you.
give off closing.
You have anything that you would like to say in the wrap?
Well, I just want to thank those persons who would have called in. I'm certain that there are many other more persons who are listening who haven't called in, who would have found this morning's presentation to be educational. As I said, we thought that it is timely that we raise this issue of the Welfare Association, so that when persons in the public hear of the Welfare Association, they would be able to understand what it is, who are the members of the Welfare Association, what they do, and so that they could relate to what they are hearing. There are many other things more things that we could say about the Welfare Association, but time will not permit us this morning. But I think we would have brought forth the more pertinent issues, the more pertinent aspects of the association, so that the public could have a sufficient education on it to better understand and to put things into context whenever the association is referenced. So we want to thank you for your listening and your participation in this morning's program, and we will look forward to another presentation next week.
And we do invite you to, along with making your comments and engaging us, that if there are any specific topics that you would like us to share with you, or you would like to get some information about, that you reach out to us. Remember, it's policing with you, so you may have specific concerns that you would like to hear from the police about. Feel free to reach out to us, whether it's through the media, when we are on the AR, when you say an officer, I know that any one of the social media platforms.
Yes.
If it's a WhatsApp and you have a police officer's number, feel free to send that information to us, and we'll endeavor to share with you and address the issue that you share with us. And Thank you again for joining us this morning, and we look forward to seeing you again and another policing with you. Thank you again.
What you know about love? Why all the segregation? All are but one nation. Oh, let us unite as one. Let us unite as one. Tell me what you know about love. Tell me what you know about hate that keeps us separate.